It's like Russell Maryland and Leon Lett. Okay. This is the Eagles.
Kelly Porter.
Eagles.
There it is. Nolan Smith.
Nolan Smith.
It's time to go hunting.
You want a war? You're going to get one.
What was that? He had enough time for one more play. He had an opportunity to win that game at the end. But the referee screwed us. The brother screwed us. I'm upset, but the brother screwed us.
At least they fought back and tried.
Only Cowboys game.
You literally.
The brother screwed us. The brother screwed us. He had one man opportunity for one more play.
Dallas still stinks.
Yo, by the way, King Dingbat here, and hope everybody's having a great day. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you're hanging in there. Well, it just keeps getting better for the Eagles. Every day, it just gets better and better. This Eagles defense, I think, by the end of the year, with all the young guys, is going to be nasty. And not just for 1 year, but for a long, long time to come. I absolutely love this. It is great to hear that Jordan Davis is making the progress he's making. And we're going to talk about that and some stuff in a second. But before we do that, if you're new to the channel and you like the content, make sure you hit that like button. More importantly, make sure you subscribe to the most censored, the most throttled, pause, Eagles content creator in all of the internet. And if you've been subscribed for a while, I just want to thank you so much for all the support you give to me. It truly means a lot. I truly appreciate it. Now, you guys remembered the draft. You remembered when the Eagles drafted Nolan Smith. What? With the 30th pick in the draft? It was unbelievable. How did Nolan Smith drop to that second first-round pick for the Eagles? I mean, people were talking about him going 10. I didn't think he would go 10, but I thought somewhere around 15 to 20. And you remember the Dallas Cowboys, when they thought they were going to draft Nolan Smith, how excited they were, only to be disappointed and then try to pretend that they really were happy later on? It was hilarious. Just looking at their draft reaction when we drafted Nolan Smith was a beautiful, beautiful thing. Well, today we've got something else about Nolan Smith that they could be unhappy about. That's right. Nolan Smith isn't signed. Done deal. Boom. Nolan Smith has signed his rookie contract with the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Eagles now have 6 of their 7 picks signed. The Eagles now have 6 of the 7 picks from the 2023 draft under contract. Those who have signed: Smith, Carter, Steen, Brown, McKee, Ojomo, and the only one left to sign, the only guy that remains unsigned, is Kylie Ringo. Why, Johnny Ringo, you look like somebody just walked all over your grave. You know, Ringo's, I love that name. I gotta tell you, I love that name. That is such a great name, Ringo. I love it. It's absolutely, it just, every time I hear it, I think of Johnny Ringo. So, he's the only one left to sign. He'll probably be one of the easiest guys to sign out of all of them. But the Eagles now have Nolan Smith, Jalen Carter, and most of the draft class signed, and we're not even in June. We're not even in June yet. Oh my God, I love this team. Everything this team does, oh my God, this show's too loud. Hold on. Everything this team does is fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. So, I think with Nolan Smith signed and Jalen Carter signed, they're all going to be ready to go. It is going to be really interesting to see how this defensive line progresses. I mean, listen, you can't deny that losing Javon Hargrave takes something out of you. It does. I mean, you just lost Javon Hargrave, to the 49ers, a team that is loaded with talent, except for they don't got a quarterback. They don't have a quarterback. That's going to be their downfall. However, he had 11 sacks last year. Where are you going to get that production at defensive tackle? That's the truth. Fletcher Cox gave you, 7.5 last year. So where are you going to get that 11 from? You can't expect Jalen Carter to go out and get 11 sacks his rookie year. I mean, if he did, that would be absolutely astronomical. But it's going to be interesting to see how they do it. But I do think they have enough guys with the rotation, with Brandon Graham, with Josh Sweat, with Jalen Carter as a rookie, with Jordan Davis, who we're going to talk about in a second, Nolan Smith, and of course Hassan Reddick. I think they've got enough where they're going to be okay. They're going to be just fine. Maybe they don't have 70 sacks, but they'll still have somewhere in the top 3 to 4 sacks out of the rest of the NFL. At least is what I think. This is going to be nasty defensive line. It is. It is. And Jordan Davis is going to play a huge part. He absolutely is going to play a huge part. And we've talked about Jordan Davis. You know, Jordan Davis, I think, means a lot to the Philadelphia Eagles. And it starts with one thing, okay? It's going to start with Jordan Davis conditioning. If Jordan Davis does not come in shape, it doesn't matter what kind of strides he's made, what he's learned. Of course, you always call me when I'm streaming, while I'm filming. But, you know, it doesn't really matter what kind of strides Jordan Davis makes if he doesn't come in shape. That, to me, is the number one thing that Jordan Davis has to accomplish. And if you look at this picture, right here of Jordan Davis, so we've showed this picture before, Jordan Davis looks like he's 25 pounds lighter. I mean, he looks, you know, this was taken, I believe, the day after the first round of the draft picks, when Nolan Smith, Jalen Carter, they come to the NovaCare, they meet the media. He was at the NovaCare, and if you look at him, he looks about 25 pounds lighter. I don't know how much weight he's actually lost, but he actually looks like he's well conditioned. This is a huge component to Jordan Davis. If Jordan Davis is in shape, Jordan Davis is going to be a major problem for the rest of the NFL. That's just the way it is. And you know, I don't buy into this thing where people, and mostly it's Cowboy fans and people, because they really wanted Jordan Davis really bad. You know, oh, Jordan Davis was a bust last year. He didn't do anything. If you look at Jordan Davis last year, and you look at early on in the year, he came in, obviously he wasn't in good enough shape. No argument from me. But as he started to play, as he got going, he started to get in a good shape. And actually started to play pretty good, I thought. And then he had that injury. And then when he got that injury, the Eagles had to go out and get Joseph and Sue because they had injured guys at the defensive tackle position. By the time he came back, you already had Sue and Joseph in there. It was kind of hard for him to go right back to where he was. However, you know, what we're hearing now from Jordan Davis is that he's making tremendous, what the hell's a tremender? Major progress in improving, okay? And I can tell you right now, just based upon the picture of him looking like he's lost weight, is a major reason why. Because if he's in shape, he's going to be a problem. Thomas R. Pearson, shout out to him, he put this out. Jordan Davis has made major progress this all season. According to people inside the NFL that Greg Cosell has talked to, Davis' role is going to increase a lot heading into year 2. Pound Eagles, never hashtag. Via Inside the Birds. So, what we're hearing is that this kid has made major progress, and he is going to have a bigger role. And that, of course, is the way it's going to be now. I know there's talk of should the Eagles bring back Sue or something like that. Maybe we will have to see how things go, but I think they're pretty loaded at defensive tackle. If I had to guess how this is going to pan out, I would guess that to start the season, Jalen Carter will start next to Fletcher Cox. You will rotate Jordan Davis in. He'll be in, especially in running downs. And the question is Jordan Davis going to be in shape? And then has he improved his pass rushing game? If Jordan Davis is in shape, it's a problem. The rest of the NFL, it's a problem. If he pans out and Jalen Carter pans out, can you imagine next 4 or 5 years the domination you have at that defensive tackle position? Oh, by the way, Nolan Smith is going to be a player too. I mean, it's a scary defense. This is a scary time to be a Cowboy fan or a Washington or a Giant fan, because the Eagles are on the verge of domination over the next 5 years. It's the truth. This team is set up to succeed. They've got guys from Georgia, and people can make fun of calling the Georgia Dogs and say, oh, you draft everybody from Georgia. Georgia wins. Georgia wins national championships. So you're bringing in guys who are actual champions, who actually know what it's like to win, know how to win. You're bringing in winners while the other teams are drafting losers. That's how I look at it. So I have no problem with it. But to me, Jordan Davis is a giant key to this defense and the success. And if you look at him and you go back and you watch his tapes, it's very interesting to watch. If he gets blocked with one offensive lineman, if they block him one-on-one, he pushes the guy back all the time. 4, 5, 6 yards, they can't stop him. If you double team him, that's the only way you could attempt to slow him down. But what you're doing is you're freeing up the other defensive tackle. You're freeing up other people. So I expect Jordan Davis to have a much better year than he did last year. Not because last year he wasn't talented or he didn't contribute, but it's going to start because he's in better condition. He's in shape. And if Jordan Davis is in shape, then Jordan Davis can do a lot. We know how athletic he is. Okay, we could talk about, the combines don't mean that much, don't mean that. They don't mean everything, but they do mean something. It does show how athletic this kid is, how good of an athlete he can be. You can't tell me that Jordan Davis, if he's not well conditioned and in shape, he can't be a big factor for the Philadelphia Eagles. I think he's a giant factor. I think he is going to shock a lot of people this year, and he's one of my breakout candidates. I think Jalen Carter will be good from the get-go. I think Jordan Davis, coming in better conditioned and much more ready to go, ready to play in the NFL than he was a year ago, will be a big thing. I don't ever expect Jordan Davis to have 10 sacks a year. I don't even think he'll have 8, 9 sacks a year. We never thought that. But I think he's a 5-sack guy, 6-sack guy. I think maybe career high, like 7 sacks. I think he could get there. I think he has the athletic ability to get there. And I think he's always going to be a problem because his size, his athletic ability, and he's always going to take on that double team. You're going to double team Jordan Davis or Jalen Carter. That's going to be a huge problem for people. So the Eagles, they got their defensive line set for the next few years. Now, will they go out and bring in another defensive end? I do think it's possible. I've talked about Yannick Ngakoue. We'll talk about some other guys in later videos. But I think right now, the progress that we're hearing that Jordan Davis has made, combined with having Nolan Smith signed, Jalen Carter signed, shows where this Eagles team is going. They're focused, they're ready, and they're definitely scary. With that said, take care. Talk to you later. Of course, don't be a dingbat. And remember, it's Howie Vision. We're all just living in it. Now, I know what you're thinking. Well, you talked about Jordan Davis, Nolan Smith, Jalen Carter. You even mentioned Ringo, but you didn't talk about Nakobe Dean. I think Nakobe Dean is going to have a big year too. He looks like he put on some weight. He looks ready to go as well. And we will talk much more about him and the linebackers at a later time. I think Nakobe Dean, I think all these Georgia dogs are going to be really impactful for the Philadelphia Eagles. With that said, Denzel Washington out.